The border between China and India stretches for over 2,000 miles. It is a breathtaking landscape of towering peaks, treacherous passes, and unforgiving terrain. This region, known as the Himalayas, has long been a source of tension between the two Asian giants.
The heart of the conflict lies in the disputed territories of Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, regions claimed by both countries with historical and strategic justifications.
For centuries, the Himalayan region served as a natural buffer between the two civilizations. The harsh terrain and lack of clear demarcation lines meant that the border remained largely undefined and fluid. This changed in the 20th century with the rise of modern nation-states. Colonial legacies and differing interpretations of historical treaties further complicated the situation.
By the mid-20th century, the undefined border had become a major point of contention, leading to a series of border skirmishes and diplomatic standoffs.
India recognizes the McMahon Line as the legitimate boundary, while China rejects it, claiming it was imposed on a weaker Tibet without their consent.
The unresolved border issues and historical grievances have created a climate of mistrust and suspicion between China and India.
Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, two geographically distinct regions along the Sino-Indian border, stand as stark reminders of the unresolved territorial disputes between these Asian powers. Aksai Chin, a high-altitude desert in the western Himalayas, is strategically important for China as it connects the Tibet Autonomous Region to Xinjiang province.
China gained control of Aksai Chin in the 1962 Sino-Indian War and has since developed infrastructure, including a crucial highway, solidifying its hold over the region.
The region's sparse population and harsh environment have made it difficult for India to exert effective control, despite its claims.
Arunachal Pradesh, located in the eastern Himalayas, presents a contrasting scenario. This region is home to a diverse population and boasts fertile valleys and strategic mountain passes.
China's claim to Arunachal Pradesh is rooted in historical arguments linking the region to Tibet, which China considers to be under its control. The McMahon Line, which defines the border in this region, is disputed by China, further complicating the issue.
The differing perceptions of history and conflicting territorial claims over Arunachal Pradesh continue to fuel tensions between China and India.
The year 1962 witnessed a pivotal and tragic chapter in the Sino-Indian relationship, a brief but bloody border war that left an indelible mark on the psyche of both nations. The war, sparked by escalating border tensions and conflicting territorial claims, ended in a decisive Chinese victory, but it failed to resolve the underlying border dispute.
Instead, it sowed the seeds of mistrust and suspicion that continue to plague Sino-Indian relations to this day.
The war's legacy continues to cast a long shadow over bilateral relations, serving as a constant reminder of the potential for conflict. Despite the passage of time, the 1962 war remains a sensitive topic for both China and India.
Both countries officially commemorate the war, albeit with different interpretations of the events that transpired. For China, it serves as a reminder of its military might and resolve in defending its territorial integrity.
The specter of 1962 looms large over any discussion of the Sino-Indian border dispute. The war's legacy serves as a cautionary tale, reminding both sides of the devastating consequences of failing to find a peaceful resolution.
Yet, it also highlights the challenges of overcoming decades of mistrust and the deep-seated historical grievances that continue to fuel tensions along the Himalayan frontier.
In the annals of the Sino-Indian border dispute, the 2020 Galwan Valley standoff stands out as a stark reminder of the ever-present potential for conflict in this volatile region. Unlike previous border skirmishes, the Galwan Valley clash involved hand-to-hand combat, resulting in casualties on both sides.
The incident, which occurred in a remote but strategically important area along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh, sent shockwaves through the international community and plunged Sino-Indian relations to their lowest point in decades.
Previous incidents typically involved jostling between troops, stone-throwing, and minor scuffles. The use of lethal force in the Galwan Valley, however, signaled a dangerous escalation and raised fears of a wider conflict.
The Galwan Valley standoff had far-reaching consequences for Sino-Indian relations, eroding trust and escalating an already tense situation. In the aftermath of the clash, both countries rushed to reinforce their military positions along the line of actual control, leading to a massive buildup of troops and equipment.
The incident also sparked a wave of nationalist sentiment in both countries, making it more difficult for political leaders to pursue diplomatic solutions.
The incident served as a wake-up call for both China and India, forcing them to confront the possibility of a larger conflict and its potentially devastating consequences.
Section 5. High stakes, higher ground. The challenges of high-altitude warfare.
The towering heights of the Himalayas, while awe-inspiring in their beauty, present a unique and formidable set of challenges for military operations.
High-altitude warfare, characterized by thin air, extreme temperatures, and treacherous terrain, tests the limits of human endurance and military logistics.
Both China and India, in their efforts to secure their claims along the disputed border, face the daunting task of deploying and sustaining troops in this unforgiving environment.
The lack of oxygen at high altitudes poses a significant physiological challenge for soldiers.
Altitude sickness, with its debilitating symptoms of nausea, fatigue, and headaches, can cripple even the fittest individuals.
Acclimatization to such extreme conditions takes time and careful planning, adding another layer of complexity to military operations.
The extreme cold, with temperatures often plummeting far below freezing, poses additional risks to troops and equipment.
Despite the inherent challenges, both China and India have invested heavily in developing specialized equipment and training regimes for high-altitude warfare.
As tensions along the border persist, both sides continue to adapt their tactics and equipment to gain an advantage in this unique and challenging theater of operations.
Session 6. Beyond the battlefield, global implications of the Sino-Indian rivalry. The rivalry between China and India, while centered on their disputed Himalayan border, extends far beyond the immediate vicinity of their shared frontier.
As two of the world's most populous nations and fastest-growing economies, their relationship has profound implications for regional and global stability.
The escalating tensions and mistrust between China and India have raised concerns among neighboring countries and global powers who fear the potential for a conflict that could destabilize the entire region.
The geopolitical implications of the Sino-Indian rivalry are amplified by the growing strategic competition between China and the United States.
The US has strengthened its ties with India as part of its strategy to counterbalance China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region.
This strategic alignment has further complicated the dynamics of the Sino-Indian relationship, with both sides viewing the other's actions through the lens of great power competition.
The economic implications of the Sino-Indian rivalry are equally significant. As two of the world's largest economies, China and India are major trading partners.
However, their territorial disputes and strategic mistrust have cast a shadow over their economic relationship.
Section 7. Seeking a solution. Diplomatic efforts and potential resolutions. The enduring challenge for China and India lies in finding a way to coexist peacefully despite their historical grievances and competing territorial claims.
While the path to a lasting resolution remains fraught with obstacles, both sides recognize the need to manage their differences responsibly and prevent the current tensions from spiraling into a catastrophic conflict.
Diplomatic efforts, though often strained and marked by periods of impasse, offer the most viable avenue for achieving a mutually acceptable solution.
Over the years, China and India have engaged in numerous rounds of border talks at various levels, seeking to find common ground and establish mechanisms for managing their differences.
These talks have yielded some progress in terms of confidence-building measures and establishing protocols to prevent escalation along the LAC.
However, fundamental disagreements over the legitimacy of their respective territorial claims remain a major stumbling block to a lasting resolution.
Another approach focuses on finding ways to manage the dispute effectively, even if a formal resolution remains out of reach.
While this approach may not resolve the underlying territorial issues, it could help to reduce tensions and build trust over time.
Section 8. The Dragon and the Elephant. Navigating the future of Sino-Indian relations. The future trajectory of the Sino-Indian relationship remains uncertain, marked by a complex interplay of cooperation, competition, and mistrust.
Both nations recognize the need for a stable and predictable relationship to ensure their continued economic growth and regional influence.
However, overcoming decades of suspicion and resolving their long-standing border dispute will require sustained effort and a willingness to make difficult compromises.
One of the key challenges in navigating the future of Sino-Indian relations lies in managing their growing economic interdependence alongside their strategic rivalry.
China and India are major trading partners, and their economies are deeply intertwined. However, their economic relationship is often overshadowed by political tensions and security concerns.
Finding ways to decouple their economic and security agendas will be crucial for building a more stable and predictable relationship.
Despite the challenges, there are also opportunities for cooperation between China and India.
Working together on these shared challenges could help to build trust and foster a more cooperative relationship.